What is going on YouTube? Joe here with Color Nation Media, bringing you yet another Pokemon X and Y Wi-Fi battle today, and today's opponent is going to be Charlie, who's a subscriber/follower on Twitter, and today's match is going to be a mixed tier match, as you can see from the teams. We've got stuff from all over the spectrum here. Got NU, RU, UU, OU, you name it, we have it, I guess, besides Ubers, but nobody really likes Ubers anyway. Anywho, yeah, just before we get into the teams, though, just would like to remind you guys that as long as this video reaches that magical number of 60 likes, I will continue to bring you these lovely daily double Wi-Fi battle uploads and all of that fun stuff. Now let's get into the teams. My opponent has some interesting stuff. As you can see, he's got the Kabutops, which typically is not used outside of the rain, but it's probably going to be like a Life Orb set. That's usually what I see. And they like to run, you know, Aqua Jet, Swords Dance, Waterfall, and Stone Edge, usually. So that's what I'm guessing here. He's got the Gardevoir, and that could potentially be Mega. And looking at the rest of his team, I don't see any other Megas. So that is something that I need to watch out for. Although it could also be a more defensive set, although that is much rarer to see. And I actually want to try that out. One with, like, Will-O-Wisp or something like that. He also has the Weavile. And Weavile is just pretty straightforward. Pretty straightforward, to be honest. It just likes to run the knockoff, you know, Night Slash sometimes, Ice Shard, so it does have the priority. Milotic is going to be a defensive Pokemon, obviously. Could be bold-natured, physically defensive, could be just all special. We don't know. Crobat could be a utility Pokemon that likes to carry Defog, so we will see it with that as well. And the Probopass is probably going to be his Rock Setter. On my side, I've got the Beartic, which is a Swords Dance set with Aqua Jet, Superpower, and Icicle Crash. Then I've got the Choice Scarf Braviary, which is just absolutely an amazing Pokemon, so powerful. Bring in the Roserade again because it did nothing in the last battle that I used it in, so I figured, you know what, I want to try to get it some work here, and with that Kabutops there could be some potential here. Also have the Choice Banded Scizor, and then Torkoal and Florges is going to be my defensive core. Torkoal has obviously got the Stealth Rocks and the Rapid Spin. And so that's what I'm going to lead off with here, because I'm predicting that he's going to start off with that Probopass to try to set up his own rocks. That seems like the logical thing to do. He could also lead off with the Crobat to try to set up some Defogs after I get my rocks off, but that is not the case here. He's going to just lead off with the Noses Unite, which is an awesome name for a Probopass. He's going to set up the rocks right away, and I'm going to do the same thing, so we just trade rocks. Wasn't positive if that's what he wanted to do, so because I thought about just going for Rapid Spin that turn, but anyway, he's going to go for the Thunder Wave here, and that really doesn't bother me too much, because it just really doesn't. The only thing he can do is what it did right there and just prevent me from moving that turn, which is unfortunate because I was trying to go for that Rapid Spin. Now he's going to get a Power Gem off, which does a decent amount of damage because it is a special move, and Torkoal doesn't have the best special defense, so he's much more bulky on the physical side, so I kind of wish that was like even Stone Edge. But I'm going to be able to get the Rapid Spin off this turn, which is fantastic. There goes his Air Balloon. Not that that really matters, because I don't have a lot of Ground-type moves on my Pokemon. So I'm going to go into my Braviary here, because I do have the Superpower. And he's going to go for the Power Gem on the switch, and that's going to do a decent amount of damage. It probably wasn't the best idea to switch Braviary in on that. But that being said, I thought he might try to set up the rocks again. And I guess I just predicted wrong there. So he's going to predict the Superpower here, which is a very nice prediction on his part. I know Superpower is pretty common on Braviary, but I had to go for it here. I didn't want to make any fancy predictions this early in the match. So in comes Bonnie, the Gardevoir, to take that, and it takes it very nicely because it is a Quad Resist. And yeah, it really just doesn't do anything. So I need to switch out again because this Gardevoir is just going to kill me regardless of whether or not it's defensive. So I'm going to switch into my Scizor here, my Tinsect, as he's going to Mega Evolve, so that pretty much just confirms what kind of set this thing is running. It could be Calm Mind, I guess, but usually they're just, you know, mostly just all-out attacking. He's going to go for the Shadow Ball, and I guess he predicted the switch. I'm not sure what he predicted me to go into, but he gets a crit, and that does about 50%, which is unfortunate. He gets the special D-drop as well, but he can't stay in here because the Bullet Punch is very obvious. And I decided to just make the very obvious play here, because like I said, it's still fairly early in the match, and I don't want to screw myself over by making some fancy predictions. So I'm going to switch out here. It's unfortunate that he brought in the Probopass, because he's going to be able to get up his rocks if he wants to. But he just decides to go for the T-Wave here as I switch into my Florges. because now I know that he's running special moves. He probably has the Flash Cannon too, in addition to Stealth Rock, Thunder Wave, and Power Gem. So I can take those fairly nicely. He decides to go for the Stealth Rocks here. There's no reason for him not to. And I can just go for that Aromatherapy, get rid of all of that paralysis that he had on my team, because he was pretty much just spamming that T-Wave and spreading it as much as he possibly could. Now I'm going to set up a Wish, see what he wants to do. Just going to go for that Flash Cannon, and I'm really not worried about that. I know it's a super effective move, it's also stab, but he's probably uninvested, and as you can see, that does absolutely nothing, even after the lefty's recovery. That's pathetic for super effective damage. So I'm going to switch out here. I want to pass my Wish into Torkoal and then get a Rapid Spin up. I'm hoping that he's going to go for another Flash Cannon here, or a T-Wave, and he does go for the T-Wave, so Torkoal gets paralyzed immediately as he comes back in, even though we just cured him of that paralysis. So, sorry, buddy. But on the bright side, he is going to get the Wish recovery, so it negates the Stealth Rock's damage and all the previous damage that he took with the Power Gem. So I really need to hope that he's not going to hit me with a Power Gem, or not hit me with a Power Gem, that I'm not going to get paralyzed and can't move. And I don't, so I get the Yawn off, and I thought he would switch out, allowing me to Rapid Spin, but he stays in, allowing his Probopass to fall asleep. So I guess he just thought that the Torkoal was such a thorn in his side that he would rather have his Probopass be asleep, because this thing is going to be as good as dead now. On the downside, though, Stealth Rocks are still on my side of the field, and I've got a couple of Pokemon that are going to be weak to it. I've got the Beartic and the Braviary, so I will need to kind of utilize some Wish Passing, or just be very careful with my switching. In comes Adam West, which is a fantastic nickname for Crobat, as I go for the Swords Dance. And that could be problematic for him, because I do have the Aqua Jet for priority, so I know this Crobat's going to be way faster than me, but he's just going to go for the Taunt here. As I decide to go for the Icicle Crash, I figured he couldn't kill me in one hit with anything. I was not expecting the Taunt, though, but I guess he didn't want me to get another Swords Dance boost. So there's the Icicle Crash, it connects, that is a dead Adam West. I'm sorry, Adam West, you were the best Batman, you really were. So the Crobat goes down, in comes the Weavile, and I do have the superpower, but I don't know how confident I am in surviving a knockoff or a Night Slash or whatever move this thing normally wants to carry. So I'm just going to go for the Aqua Jet. I am at +2, and that's going to do some decent damage. That does a good, like, 2/3 to this thing. He goes for the Brick Break, so that's an interesting coverage move for Weavile to have. But that's just going to take out Beartic. No reason for me to switch out there, and yeah, there's no way he was going to survive that either. So now Weavile takes the Life Orb damage, he goes down into the red zone. I can bring in my Tinsect, and I can fire off a Bullet Punch if I wanted to. But he does have the Ice Shard, so that is a bit unfortunate, because he is going to outspeed me and get some chip damage. And because the rocks are up, I can't really switch my Scizor in and out too much more. In fact, it's only going to be, what 2 more times before I'm just dead? In comes the Kabutops, and he's going to take some Stealth Rocks damage, but that really doesn't matter, you know, to a Kabutops too much. Pretty much have to switch out here because the Aqua Jet is very, very obvious. So I'm going to predict that and go into my Roserade. And finally, Roserade is going to see some action and not just die in one hit like it did the last time I used it. So there's the Aqua Jet. My physical defense is pretty bad, but I still take that very well. And he's going to withdraw his Kabutops here because he obviously can't afford to stay in. He's going to switch into his Milotic, though, which also isn't going to like a Giga Drain. So I'm not sure why he switched that in. Maybe he just figured that he needed the Kabutops more than he needed the Milotic. And Giga Drain almost just straight up kills this Milotic in one hit. If that was Leaf Storm, it would have been dead by a lot. But I do get some of my health back, which is great. And I'm obviously going to outspeed this Milotic the next turn, so there's no reason for me to switch out here. Thought about going for the Sludge Bomb, but if you wanted to switch in the Probopass, I really didn't want him to have a free switch. So I decided Giga Drain is the best move. Adam West is gone, so I don't think he has any resist at this point. So I might as well just go for that Giga Drain, kill off the Milotic, and in comes Bonnie, which is going to be his Gardevoir. And that is a little bit of a problem. Cannot stay in on this thing because it's going to be faster than me, most likely. And yeah, I can't afford to take a Psychic or Psyshock to the face, so I'm going to go into Florges and really just hope and pray that he's Psychic and not Psyshock, because Psyshock would probably just kill me. or come close. It would definitely be a 2-hit KO from that range. But as you can see, Psychic does almost, I don't know, it just does pathetic damage, in my opinion. There is the Moonblast that still isn't enough to kill, and I get off a Wish, and that was a mistake. That was a mistake because for some reason I thought I could live 2 more hits, but the Moonblast just did too much damage, and I can't really afford to switch anything into a Moonblast, so Ivy's just going to bite the dust here, and that is a bit unfortunate. I was really hoping that somebody could get that Wish, but it just did not work out that way. I should have went for the Moonblast just to get some damage. Now I'm going to have to go into Braviary because it's the only thing I have that can outspeed it. So I'm going to go for the Brave Bird here, and I wanted to just get rid of this Gardevoir, because if I switch in the Scizor here and go for the Bullet Punch, he can switch in his Kabutops, or he can switch into Probopass, and I might have to switch the Scizor out again, and with the Stealth Rocks I can't afford to do that, so I felt like Braviary was the best move here. He's going to come in with the Kabutops next and just go for the Aqua Jet again. That was painfully obvious, but at this point I need the Roserade, so I couldn't risk switching him in to, you know, try to take a hit, especially because Braviary would be dead switching back in due to the rocks. So I'm going to bring Roserade in now, and I am modest, so this Kabutops could very well outspeed me if it is Jolly, and I was really afraid of that, and I thought I was going to lose the match, honestly. But I'm going to go for the Giga Drain here, and yep, that's going to just about kill this Nose Pass. And he's going to stay in because there's no reason for him to switch out here. So Roserade's going to get 2 kills, making up for the bad performance that he had in the last battle. It really wasn't that he had a bad performance. It's just that, I don't know, it didn't work out against my opponent's team, I guess. And the way I played it was pretty bad. In comes the Kabutops now, and I really thought the Stone Edge would just end my life, basically. But that is not going to be the case because he is adamant, and he told me that on Twitter. I remember that very clearly because I was shocked that he did not outspeed me here. But Roserade getting the 3rd kill with that Giga Drain, and I believe it's a 2-0 because I'm pretty sure I still had Scizor left, unless I just really just had a mental derp and missed Scizor dying. Maybe he did die. Did he get Aqua Jetted? I don't know. I don't know. It was a 1 or 2-0. Sometimes I just forget things as I go along. I'm sure somebody will be like raging about it in the comments, but anyway, that's the battle. It was a lot of fun. Finally, Roserade doing some work, getting 3 kills. So Roserade killed half of my opponent's team. Cannot be upset about that at all. It was a good match. I love to see some of the Pokemon that he brought here, like the Kabutops, like the Taunting Crobat, which is a nice change, and then the Probopass as well. So, and then I had some NU Pokemon of my own with Beartic, and I think Torkoal was RU last generation, but that's besides the point. Anyway, that's going to be it for this time, guys, so thank you very much for watching, as always, and do not forget to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, because it does help out a lot. So we'll see you for tomorrow's battle, but until then, game on.